The NFL draft is just a few days away, and that means our rookie drafts are coming soon. There's a lot of things to look at when we're looking at rookies for our rookie drafts. Where they go to school, how good were they in school, your league format, how important those positions are to you, and what does your team need. One thing that's often overlooked, and a lot of your league mates won't even think to check, is NFL draft odds on sports books. They're often pretty accurate and is our best indicator of where players are going to go, maybe what teams will take them, and what round they're going to go in. This is incredibly helpful for us to value picks like the late first round picks, early second round picks. Your league mates might not know where to value those picks, but this video will help you value them. So we're going to give you the most important draft odds and what they mean. Dak, what's up with Caleb Williams?
Caleb Williams, at this point, he's going to be a Chicago Bear. The odds indicate that he's a heavy favorite to go there. They traded away Justin Fields. Like, that's happening. You might as well just pencil him into the roster right now. He is a Chicago Bear, and that's very exciting. He's going to be going 101 pretty much in all formats unless you're in a really shallow 10-team league. So we know Caleb is a Bear. The other two quarterbacks, Jeff, where do you want to talk about where they're going?
Yeah, so Jaden Daniels right now could be a surprise to some is the betting favorite to go to Washington at number 2 overall. He's anywhere from minus 150 to minus 200 on sports books to be taken number 2 overall to Washington. With this, he probably will be the 103 in most formats. And also, which goes hand in hand with this, would be Drake May would then fall a little bit. He's a slight favorite to go number 3 overall, anywhere between minus 130 and even money, which is not by any means a lock, but they do assume that he will be going number 3, most likely to New England unless somebody were to trade up. He would then be somewhere between the 104 and the 106 in formats depending on QB scarcity, 12 team, 10 team, tight end premium. Maybe Bowers gets a great landing spot and people don't like May on the Patriots. On one sportsbook, there is a exact order where they have the first, second, and third pick, and the favorite is number 1, Caleb, number 2, Jaden Daniels, number 3, Drake May. And it's plus 125, but every other option is over plus 500 odds. So the sportsbooks are really confident that it's going to be Williams, Daniels, and May right in a row.
Yeah, so just summarizing that really, the main takeaways here is that Daniels is likely going to be on the Commanders, which is a decent landing spot, and May is going to probably be on the Patriots, which is a very crappy landing spot, right? So if you're at the 103, if you own the 103 in your league, just be prepared to take Daniels, right? But also, if you own the 105, maybe be excited to get Drake May at the 105 or 106. We still like him as a prospect. The Patriots landing spot does stink, but if you get him at the 106, that's still a fantastic pick in a 12-team league.
Yeah, we have another video coming out where we have Drake May ranked over Jaden Daniels in our rookie tiers. But if Daniels was to get that landing spot to go to Washington, we're probably going to have to switch that. We like May as a prospect, but we're going to listen to what NFL franchises and front offices tell us about these quarterbacks. So we will have to readjust our rankings if this were to happen.
Hey guys, real quick, we're going to give away a free roster review when we hit 200 subscribers. So if you want to enter that, subscribe and leave a comment. Now, back to the video.
Next up, we're going to talk about Marvin Harrison Jr. Right now, he's a heavy favorite to be drafted by the Arizona Cardinals at minus 225 right now. That's obviously exciting. You're getting paired with Kyler Murray. The only target competition there is Trey McBride, and I think those two would work well together rather than stealing targets from one another. They've really got no one else in that wide receiver room. Hollywood Brown left. Rondale Moore left. They've got Michael Wilson, who's all right, but he's not taking targets away from Marv. And that connection with him and Kyler Murray would just be so electric for years to come. So he would definitely be going in the 102, 103 range, depending on your league format. Even if the Cardinals were to trade out of that pick or something else happens, he's absolutely going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft, and that will cement his draft value in our rookie drafts from that 102, 103 range. So that's where we've got him at. Dalton, you want to talk about J.J. McCarthy?
So JJ McCarthy is one of the first big movers from this draft odds, right? So we're seeing JJ McCarthy right now. His line is over under 5.5 in terms of where he's going to get drafted in the NFL, and the under is minus 200 to 250. That's significant. That means he's most likely going to be a top 5 pick. This also means that a team is likely going to have to trade up to get him, which even furthers his value because when a team trades up in the top 5 to take a quarterback, they are just so invested in that quarterback, they're guaranteed at least 2 years to be a starter where they can figure it out. Now, what's even more exciting is the team that's most likely to take him at plus 115 is the Minnesota Vikings, which is just a perfect landing spot with tons of weapons. Jefferson, Addison, Hawkinson. It doesn't get much better. They have a terrible defense, which is good for the quarterback, and O'Connell as the head coach. Depending on your league format, let's assume 12 teams, super flex, 6 passing touchdowns. I can see JJ being as high as the 104, which may sound very jarring to you, and that's okay. But if May ends up on the Patriots and let's say Neighbors ends up on like the Giants, there's no real clear winners, but JJ's on the Vikings, like he's going to probably be the 104, at latest the 105. And if he's on a different team, but still in the top five, let's say the Commanders somehow or the Patriots, or they like trade down or something, he still has to be at least the 106 in your leagues because that top five draft capital is just so important. And quarterbacks in those 12-team Superflex leagues are just worth more. Jeff, let's talk about Adunze and Neighbors.
Yeah, so first I'll start with Neighbors. Neighbors is plus 170 to go as a top five pick, so not really likely, but he's minus 3,500 to go in the top 10. So this leaves him with most likely as the Giants as a landing spot, but other teams could trade up. Tennessee might want to share Neighbors. The Chargers might take him at 5, but that's looking unlikely at this point in time. Neighbors will get top 10 draft capital. He'll be a smash in all your rookie drafts. Moving on to Odunze, his odds right now are over under 8.5 as far as where he'll get picked. He's minus 1,000 to be a top 10 pick, so they will both most likely get top 10 draft capital. Again, don't really know where Odunze is going to go. Teams could trade up. They will both be in the top 7 most likely of your rookie drafts, maybe top 8 if quarterbacks and stuff falls a certain way, or Bowers gets a great landing spot, but they're going to be two highly touted prospects in your rookie drafts. Dak, talk about Brian Thomas.
Yeah, Brian Thomas, right now, the over-under for his draft pick is 16 and a half. So seeing that 16 and a half line really strengthens the 109 because you're getting that guy who's going to have really good draft capital. The two biggest landing spots that stick out to me is like the Jaguars and Bengals. Somewhere in the middle of that first round, they're going to have established quarterbacks. Bengals, maybe not targets right away. Depends if they trade T. Higgins. That's probably where Brian Thomas ends up in Cincinnati. That's only if they trade away Higgins. If he goes to Jacksonville, he's competing with like Christian Kirk, Evan Ingram for targets. That's a good spot for him. They've got Trevor Lawrence there. That's going to get people excited. That strengthens the 109 so much because you're getting this guy, good first round draft capital, good quarterback throwing the ball, good landing spot. People are going to get excited about that 109. So that's a pick that I would really want to target if I was a dynasty manager because that, as we said, you've already got great prospects ahead of Brian Thomas, and then Brian Thomas is getting kind of similar draft capital to Odunze, maybe like 8 to 10 picks after him. That's just going to be a really good pick, really good player to have on your team.
And there's a really good chance that whoever owns the 109 in your league doesn't see that pick that day because just a couple weeks ago, before we knew Brian Thomas was going to be this high, that 109 was seen like the 108 was the cutoff, right? Yeah. Now the 109's not, but the 109 is creeping up close towards that 108 in value because Brian Thomas is going to get a high draft cap. It's going to be mid first round, which is fantastic. There's good landing spots there, so go try to trade for the 109. I think that's the big takeaway here.
I still think people think the 107 is the cutoff because they're sleeping on JJ.
The 108, do that too.
Yeah, for sure.
108, 109, smash.
Yeah. Dalton, you want to talk about Brock Bowers?
Yeah, so just Brock Bowers doesn't have a whole lot to talk about, but he's basically over under is 10.5, so he's gonna be right around that 10 range, maybe the Jets, something like that. With Brock Bowers, it really depends on your league format. 1.75, 10 in premium or higher, like he's gonna have to be the 106, 107 at the absolute latest. He's got just a fantastic talent, right? He's so good at football. And he's a fantastic tight end, so he's going to be valuable. We don't really see a whole lot of fluctuation here unless he ends up on like the Bengals somehow. So he's basically guaranteed to just be a rock solid tight end for you. No real movement here from these draft odds. Jeff, you want to talk about two of the big players here, which is Adonai Mitchell and Xavier Worthy?
Yeah. So Adonai Mitchell, while I was scouring sports books, I came across that Adonai Mitchell is up to minus 750 to be a first round pick in the upcoming NFL draft, which pretty much locks him into the back end of the first round in your rookie drafts. Xavier Worthy is also minus 300 to be a first round pick, so they're feeling pretty good about those two both going in the first round. In the late first round, we have the Bills and Chiefs. The Chiefs are minus 125 to take a wide receiver with their first round pick, and the Bills are minus 240 to take a receiver with their first round pick. So most likely, these guys are going to end up in those landing spots. No guarantee, but that's what people are thinking right now. And the other line about wide receivers that stuck out to me is that the under 6.5 wide receivers taken in the first round is minus 210. And these would be the 5th and 6th receivers that we talked about. So most likely this will be the first round cutoff for receivers. So these guys will be in the back end of the first round, will most likely have nice landing spots, and therefore would lock them into their late first round draft capital in your rookie drafts.
Yeah, so the main takeaway here is that those guys, if they, most likely one of them is probably going to get that Bills or Chiefs landing spot that we're all craving, right? And, the Bills are going to take wide receiver. So that 110, that 111 in your rookie draft has so much value right now. It's unbelievably valuable, and people just won't treat it that way. So if you can go out and trade for the 110 or 111, go and do it because you're probably going to get one of these good receivers, and a great landing spot. So the next thing we're going to look at here is the two quarterbacks, Bo Nix and Michael Penix. Now, when we look at the sports book, the line for quarterbacks taken in the first round is 4.5, and it's minus 200 on the over, meaning we're probably going to get 5 quarterbacks in the first round. That means one of Bo Nix or Penix is most likely going to go in the first. Now, that's going to add significant value as first round quarterbacks. Just they need to be taken high if you're in a 12-team league. So, what does this mean for our rookie drafts? Well, it means that your back end first round picks, once again, as we've continued to see with these odds, are gaining value. You're going to have your Adonai Mitchells maybe on the Bills, your Xavier Worthy's maybe on the Chiefs, and you're going to have another late round, first round quarterback. Like, that is fantastic. The 112 now is in play. So, like, once again, this is just telling you, screaming at you, go trade for the 111, go trade for the 112, go trade for the 110, go get those picks. All right, Dak, let's finish off top of the running backs.
Yeah, so running backs, unlike in years prior, they're not going to get first round draft capital. It's a really weak running back class. Other people have been saying it's really not that bad. It is that bad. Trey Benson probably will be the first guy taken. The draft odds suggest that at the moment. But I did just say it's not a good class for running backs, but there are teams that need starters at the running back position, namely the Dallas Cowboys, who have a very good offense. If a guy like Benson or Jonathan Brooks, who's also close in odds behind Benson to be the first running back taken, if one of those guys goes to the Cowboys, that's going to make the 201, maybe 112 also very valuable. Because we've already talked about all these other guys are getting pushed up the rankings because of their draft odds and landing spots. And now you've got these running backs that are going to be potentially day one starters in the offenses they get drafted to. They're going to be exciting new running backs in the dynasty landscape. Everyone's tired of the same old running backs that are 26, 27 years old. They want fresh blood at the position. So guys namely like Benson and Brooks are going to bring that when they get drafted into these landing spots that need running backs. So that's going to make like the 201, the 202, maybe even the 203 if you can get like a guy like Blake Corum goes to the Chargers, something like that. It makes those early seconds much more valuable, which is kind of the theme of the video. All these picks are gaining more value, and you want to be going and trading for these picks before other people realize how good these picks really are.
Yeah, I said perfectly. Once again, not every dynasty, but your average dynasty player is not looking at these. But you're watching these videos, you're an educated dynasty player, so you have an advantage over your league mates. Go make these moves. Go trade for these undervalued picks while they're still undervalued. After draft day, forget it. This whole video is worthless after draft day because these picks are going to be valued appropriately. Right now, go make these trades, get it done. You'll thank us later. With that being said, thanks for watching the video. We hope you enjoyed. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.